Hey
Well.
everyone, how are you?
Good,
Happy
good. How you
Monday.
doing? TGI Monday. TGIM.
TTGIM.
It's a new one.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that one before.
Listen, there's always a first, right?
Here's the first.
That's it. We got the first. So, how's everything? I mean, last chat we had was an interesting one, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, we were chalking with a chat bot with an artificial intelligence system, right?
That was some fun time, and yeah. Well, listen, that version of Chat GPT is not really up there. I mean, there's more updates to it. I was
Oh, it's
reading.
coming. They're coming. They're coming. That was still pretty impressive, HH. But there are more versions coming out at the end of the year as they're rolling them.
Well, we're waiting for them. Let's see what happens. Maybe we get some more action with them.
Somebody said something interesting. AI is not gonna replace your job, but if you're not apt to AI, it'll replace someone else who will do your job.
That's interesting. I like the way it sounds. Not much, but it's an interesting construct.
It definitely is. I'll say that a lot of people are fearing Chat GPT.
Well, listen,
They
yeah.
they think it's going to be a sci-fi movie, which it's not, but people are just getting crazy with it. And I think a lot of people out there, right now are using ChatGPT. Unfortunately, you know what they're doing? They're using it to do homework.
I know it's pretty good, eh? And the good cheat.
No, that's bad.
I, I,
There's even a new Google app now that's called Google Homework that lets you that solves that helps you do your homework.
well, for the record, I was just joking. I mean, I'm not a big fan of cheating and all that. But yeah, I mean, that was the first thing that came up on ChatGPT. It was used by a lot of people utilizing to write and answer and do things as opposed to you doing the work. And that's been the first kind of loud conversation that happened about it, and then everything else started to happen.
I think the biggest thing with ChatGPT right now is that a lot of people are trying to figure out its usage. What's it going to be used for? Because what's happening right now is they say that they can write a paper with ChatGPT, but it's not the same as someone that writes it. Like when I write something by hand, it's not the same thing. Or someone who's doing music now, they're using ChatGPT to clone that or to come up with something similar, and that's technically copying. So you're breaking a copyright.
Uh, that's going to be questionable. I mean, you're going to have to prove that it was ChatGPT and not another software or another AI. As a matter of fact, I actually tested some AI for press releases. Writing. I mean, and that stuff is pretty impressive. I put in just the topic what I want, and it gets you a full press
It's
release.
impressive, but you have to realize one thing: it's not about feelings or emotions; it's about facts.
Well, yeah, what I'm saying is I was able to get a couple of versions of press releases, designed and written, and they were better than I would even imagine myself. I mean, I could probably do the same, but I didn't have to think about it. I just said, okay, this is what I want, and it just gave me all the options. And then what I did, I took some of that and I said, no, I need more, and it gives me a better one.
Yeah, I just feel that using ChatGPT, I mean, definitely it has its benefits, but I think if people are going to use, what I compare it to? I always say when you go to the store and you make change. Most people today can't add or subtract because they use a register. I always say you should make the change before the register actually prompts you with the amount to get back.
Right. So John, I mean, we kind of just recapped a little bit about last week for our audiences that are just joining us today. So yes, I mean, do check out the chat. Let's ask Chat GPT. That was actually the headline or the title of our last show from last week. But today, there's a couple things we want to cover. I know you're working on a great event in the
Yep.
community. So let's talk about that, just so the people that are watching, if you're in the Jersey or New York area, this may be something you want to be interested
Yeah,
in.
you could be anywhere in the tri-state area if you want to drive here. So we have an event going to happen on June 24th in Park Ridge, New Jersey. And it's not limited to any age, but it can be teenagers. It can be, let's say, grammar school. Could be college. Could be graduate. Could be people even older. It's just we don't want people that are professionals in the music industry because that wouldn't be fair. And what our title is fight for your big chance. Fight for your right to get that big chance, because what you're going to be doing is competing. We're having somewhere between, I'm going to say maybe 8 to 15 bands, probably a couple hundred people. And each band member can enter only $10 a head plus fees and taxes. And people can come to support the band for only $20 a head plus fees and taxes. And if you can't come in person, there's no excuse, because we're opening up to about 250, 300 people that we'll be able to stream to virtually.
John, is this
for
like
$15?
is it like marching bands or what kind of bands? Or like just music?
Really, any bands. We're really talking about any kind of band. So it could be people that produce music. It could be guitar. It could be piano. We're typically going out to all the music schools. Anyone that creates music and has a band. So that could be drummers. That could be electric guitar. It could be keyboard. It could be a variety of things. And what we're doing is we're putting all these bands with everyone in the room. And at the end of the competition, we're going to have the audience clap, and the loudest clap is going to be first place. The second loudest is going to be second place. The third loudest is going to be third place. Now, the first place, all of them are going to get press releases written for them by us. But the first place is going to get $100. Second place is going to get $50. Third place is going to get $25 to the band. But the first place band is going to get the ability to play on my radio station that I broadcast on in New Jersey and New York, close to 20, 25,000 people.
Where is this going to be, John?
It's going to be at the Park Ridge Elks Hall in Park Ridge, New Jersey. But you do have to get tickets because tickets are required. Tickets can be purchased at Orbital, ORBITAL, Media, MEDIA, Events, EVENTS.eventbrite.com. We launched the event on Friday, and today we're starting the countdown already with the first social media countdown. Today we announced that there's just 54 days left till the Orbital Media's first annual Battle of the Bands. We're visiting schools. We're visiting car dealerships to get sponsorships. We're visiting music schools and saying, hey, we're having a Battle of the Bands. Would you tell people that? And most of the people are like, oh, sure. We'll get the word out about that.
It's hard to get the word out there. I'll tell you that much. Everybody's promising, everybody's saying yes, but it's hard. I mean, talking is one thing, doing is another, as you know, right? So
we have about 17 people on the committee right now, and everyone's doing something. The team lead right now has asked everyone to contact 10 businesses a week minimum.
Now, what about high schools?
High schools are welcome. High schools, colleges, grammar schools, anybody that plays, singers.
Schools.
What's that?
Private schools?
Any schools, any kind of schools are fine. It doesn't matter whether private or public. I mean, we don't care. We're going to private and public schools. We're letting them know about what we're doing. But again, it's not blessed by the school. We're just asking them to share this public information with the students. We have a brand new Facebook page that's going to be launching very soon called Orbital Media's Battle of the Bands. That'll be launching, I believe, later this week. So yes, we created a special Facebook page just for this event.
All right. Well, so at least we got that out of the way. So folks, if you're out there and you're in the area and you do want to,
or if you're not in the area and you just can drive to New Jersey, well, we'd love to have you.
Hey, listen, why not, right? I mean, make it a nice day out and having fun and
It's
enjoying
going to
some.
be 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. and setup starts at 9 a.m. in the morning.
All right. So, John, let's talk a little bit about business right now. And
Sure.
your hat always, is a pretty powerful message there. And it's been a minute. We haven't really talked about Believe and Achieve. So I just, because we have different people watching right now, so maybe we can
Sure.
just.
So, and actually, we're in the process of redoing. We just got a brand new logo that we're putting into. We have a really cool logo that I pumped out. I was very happy, and this marked a pretty stellar week because I have a few businesses, so I decided to take my Believe Me Achieve and make a business card for it and call it John C. Morley Serial Entrepreneur. And I tell people just scan this card and it tells you everything I'm up to because it keeps evolving.
Well, that's the new thing right now. I mean, the new business cards are really your picture and your QR code. I mean, it's linked to your link tree and then has everything you need. So if you are not there yet, if you haven't put your card, out yet with some QR, maybe it's time to
But
do
we
that.
still have those other cards, which have specific things and QR codes just for those businesses. So this QR code just links to the main link tree. And then we say, oh, do you have a card for the IT? Yeah, I do. I have a special card. I have a card for that. Do you have a card for media? Yeah, I have a card for my media. So this way you don't have to give out 5 cards, but this way you only give out the cards that people are asking you for.
Oh yeah, well, I tell you what I did, and that's me. I one card, got my QR, my picture, so that's me. And it has all my links, all companies, all things I do, I'm involved with, all my socials. So you click away, you can follow me, you can contact me, you can write me, you can joke with me, and you just cannot harass me. but yes, it is the new thing. I think it's a lot better than the old school. We have your phone number and all that. That's cool. But this is a new thing. Scan Go. I mean, I love the hat. You got the scan right there, the QR.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can
yeah.
just literally just
We
scan.
were doing QR codes back in the pandemic time. We started adding QR codes to business cards a couple years ago.
Right, but it hasn't been that relevant. Now it's actually becoming more and more. And the people that are upcoming, they're all into this. And I mean, you can get your unlimited, QRs for like $35, whatever it is, some sites for it, QR.io or something. But if you have Linktree, you have Instagram. If you just want that, you can just have your Instagram.
There's another one called Hey something. There's a new one called Hey Link or something now. Hey Link so there's a couple companies doing this now.
Yeah, but again, all the social platforms, WhatsApp has its own QR. You can just have your WhatsApp on, and that's it. If that's all you want them to do is to call you, you can do that. You want to have your.
There's a company out there, I forget the name of them, some phone thing or something, and all they do is sell you a thing that's basically like your own link tree. And they do a few other things, like they could do a video call, but it's just a bunch of links, and they're charging you for it.
Listen, there is demand, there is value, there is to each his own.
But you don't need to pay for it. You can set up your own, do the basic. You don't have to do that. So I think one was called iPhone or InPhone or something like that.
Not familiar.
It's an app that you download, and basically it allows people to find you through the directory of InPhone.
All right. Well, so folks, you're joining us right now on Instagram. So hey guys, what's up? You see us bouncing a little bit on the image here is because I'm trying to move so you can see, the screen correctly because we're on a StreamYard, feed, and it does not feed correctly on the Instagram. So that's why. But it's also giving us a full spectrum of both guests, I guess, talk show hosts here, and so. You have questions, you want to interact, please feel free. You can put in your comments on there. You can also comment and chat with us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Mixcloud. I mean, we're all over the place. So Twitch, just put your comments and connect with us. This is actually an open discussion. It's one of those shows that you're probably not going to get a lot of because we are ad hoc. We are not planning them. We do have a lot on a weekly basis, but this is we opted for this format. We just talk about things and whatever comes to mind. We get a little excited about few technologies and things like that. John is pretty cool about giving facts, so I'll leave that to him. But yeah, I mean, folks, joining us, have fun with us.
This weekend we had 30 kids. We booked out, and we had 30 parents at our 4th quarterly STEM meet. It was pretty cool. We took 3 giant ice cubes that I put food coloring in to make them look colorful, and I put them into 3 beer steins. And I asked the kids, I said, hypotheses. I said, what do you think is going to happen? We got boiling hot water, we got sugar, and we got salt. Which is going to melt faster? Oh, the boiling hot water. Let's see. Took 2 tablespoons of boiling hot water. The ice cube popped a little bit. Not too much else happened. Second one, I'm going to put some sugar. Nothing happened. Third one, I put some salt. Nothing happened right away. But eventually, the salt, you see, actually caused the ice to melt. And you're probably saying, well, how the heck does salt cause an ice cube to melt? Well, they put salt on the roads, and I use the joke. They actually put salt on the road so that the ice is more tasty, so you can make your own snow cone. No, seriously, you don't want to do that because the snow on the road is actually not, let's say, contaminant free. That's why it's all dirty in color. The one at home is actually purified. So we have, we have 0 degrees. As one of the degrees, and then we have the degrees of 32 degrees. So when we think about, let's say, freezing temperatures, right? So freezing temperatures are when we're going to get ice, okay? And so, well, water freezes below 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius. So what ice does, it's pretty cool. What salt does is it lowers the freezing temperature of ice. So what I did after a while is I had them touch the glass, and like the one that actually had the salt in it was like negative 11 degrees. That's pretty cold.
Damn.
Okay, because what we did is we caused the salt to lower the freezing temperature so it wouldn't freeze, and also disrupt the bonds so that ice could not form anymore. And everybody loved that experiment. Then we took milk, fat milk, the one that had not the 2%, 1%, but the full whole milk, and we put food coloring in. Then we took a cotton swab, touched it, nothing happened. Then we put dish soap on it, and we touched it, and they all went into like a swirl and attacking the fats. And then we made a homopolar motor. That's right. We made a motor out of just some paper clips, some wire, a battery, a screw, and a magnet. And I demonstrated, what's that?
Did it work?
Of course it worked.
Just kidding, man.
We demonstrated the principle that Michael Faraday came up with, which is induction. So motors are nothing more than devices that transfer electrical energy and convert it to mechanical energy. And the way a motor works is by using motors, because every wire that exists and you run current through it has a small electromagnetic field. When you coil those wires, it gets stronger. And then we talked about a little bit how that worked. We talked about how magnets are used in motors to cause the motor to rotate. I just wrote an article that got published on LinkedIn just today. What is a motor and how does it work? And there's also many different types of motors.
John, you're just a busy bee, huh?
And of course, we had donuts and we had muffins and we had orange juice and all that other junk. And we had candy. So any kids that participated, I gave them a little tiny candy bar and threw them a small candy bar.
Nice, nice. Well, listen, I mean, it's good to experiment. It's good for the mind. It's good for learning. It just, it's good work, man. It's good work. I mean, you're like into everything and almost everything else.
Almost everything else, yeah, just everything. But it was good. And the funny thing is, the kids are watching, and the parents are just as like enthralled. So I got an idea. We're gonna probably start this next month. That you can book John the Science Guy to come out for a science experiment at your next birthday, christening, bar mitzvah, or whatever party you have. Let me wow your guests with curiosity and science.
Well, that's actually it is different because when you think party, it's all about clowns and balloons and stuff. Rarely you'll get something more, I guess, interesting or different. I mean, nothing wrong with having clowns and balloons and fun bouncy, but stuff.
But what does that really do for you, HH? I was saying this about schools the other day. Schools have all these programs, right? They have 20, 30, 40, 50 programs. They have too many programs, and the kids don't know what to do themselves. And so they become so busy that they have no time for even work or schoolwork. And so, what would be good if they actually had a program that would help them further the decision of their career?
All right, so now we're touching on some real stuff. Now it gets meaty here. Well, so it's a big discussion right out there about what things are not being taught in school, right? And for the most part, school is not teaching you real life hacks, things that you're going to need in real world, things that
Right.
you're probably going to utilize, finances. Maybe now there's some schools that do some of these things, but really you're not real learning. Kids haven't been taught the things that they're going to need immediately when they live. How to do their day-to-day business stuff. You come out of college, even you probably are not going to be prepared the way you think. And a lot of businesses, that's the first thing that people look for. And if you're new, you just get into the career path or your work, I guess, career start. You would know that you send a resume, you have very little experience. The first thing they say, well, you need a couple of years before we can talk to you. Any job, as a matter of fact, they'll look at you, responsibilities, what the job description is, and they tell you what the requirements are, and it's like through 3, 4, 5, 7, 10 years plus of XYZ experience. You're just out of college. There's a good chance you're not going to have any. And that's
So what I do, HH, is I don't turn anybody away. I said, well, great. If you don't have that experience, that's fine. You can come an internship for us, and you'll just get credit. You don't get paid, but you'll get intern experience. And then after a year or two, or a little before, we may offer you a job.
well, I actually that thank you for doing that, and I think internships are the greatest way into it. Having a side job while you're in college, that's always a good thing. And even in high school, I mean, when you're a senior in high school, junior, senior, you can work, so you can gain some expertise one way or the other. You can do some internships per summer, and those will be good for you and good activities. I do have internships as well, but the more you learn, it's just going to prep you in terms of the real world and the expectations. Projects, deadlines, timelines, all these things are going to be needed from you. And if you're not really up to it, you're not ready. I mean, obviously in college you get these projects that they give you in the papers, and you got to turn them in on a such time, blah blah blah. Not quite the same, when you're actually working and your job is at risk, and this is if you get a job. I mean, we're talking about that's the first blockade that you get is that, well, you don't have enough quite experience, blah blah blah. Community work works, so if you're doing some activities in the community and participating, volunteering, doing things, all these things can add up to your skills, to your personality, and those are things that are real life, I guess, tools that you can use to either start your career or even advance your career. The more you do, extracurricular activities will actually get you somewhere in better things. The less you do, probably the chances are going to be harder for you to get into places. But there are a lot of internships out there. There's plenty of programs out there.
The problem is a lot of people come to us, and I get this, and they're like, oh, I want to make this, I want to do this. And I was like, okay. So I put them right at a desk, and I was like, okay, you know how to do that? Great. Go ahead and do it. And they look at me like, well, what am I do? Well, you just told me you know how to do that. So go ahead and build it. Right now? Yeah, right now. And they come back to me and says, I got to get lunch first. Okay, have lunch and come back and then build it.
And I'll come back.
They got lunch and some of them don't come back. Another one comes back. He says, do you have like instructions on how? I said, see, you're not ready to work. You're ready to get intern experience. I had another one that was putting a part on a computer, and I'll never forget this. I sat down at my desk, not even 20, 30 seconds. I got off the phone, and I heard this big pop.
Ooh.
So I get up, and I say, the guy's name is Miguel. I said, Miguel, what happened? Oh, Poppy, we have a big problem. What happened? Power supply, no good. What do you mean power supply, no good? It's no good. It's junk. I said, that power supply was at $300. Oh, you paid too much money for that. That was junk.
Ouch.
And I said to him, that's a 5-star power supply. Really? Yeah. I said, how'd you connect that? Oh, I just put the wires. Where'd they go? Which wires? Well, you know, the wires. I connect the wire to the plug and other one to the plug. Well, tell me which wires you connected. Oh, man, I don't know what I connected. Well, why don't we go through it and look at it? Unplug it from the wall. I said, okay, here's our problem. What? You connected a 24-volt pin to a 5-volt rail. Really? Didn't say that. Well, you have to know from the diagram where it is. Gets better. This another guy, he was done after that. The next guy, he came in and he changes the hard drive from a regular hard drive to an SSD. And I said, just change the hard drive. Don't worry about formatting. Just change the hard drive, and that's all you need to do. He's on this for about an hour, HH. He comes back to me. He says, buddy, he says, hard drive no good. What do you mean hard drive's no good? Well, I put it in the case, okay? And I put the clip on it, and I pressed it, yeah. And I pressed it, and I kept pressing it until I heard it pop. And I said, you pushed it too hard. No. It's a defective connector. No, you have to do it very gently. You can't make this stuff up, HH.
Well,
and I said to myself, I said, and you want me to pay you even starting wage when you don't even know how to change a hard drive? He just looked at me. Okay, thank you very much. Goodbye now.
Well, so let's talk about that. Hold, time. So here's the thing. This needs to be addressed, because if you're watching or listening, or you know someone who is just starting, and or even has some sort of experience but trying to move from one area to the other, or learn something new, because we know a lot of things, and some things we're good at, some things we're not, some things are completely new to us. And so if you're joining a company, internship, otherwise, right? If you don't know, there's training, there's things. You have to be open. You have to be available. You have to be like a dish, take, absorb, whatever, a sponge, take whatever. If you don't know, it's okay to say I don't know, especially if you're going to an internship. The whole idea of an internship is that you want to learn. Apprenticeship is to learn. These two similar concepts are there for you to teach you, and so open yourself to it, as opposed to like pretend that you know and just give that whole facade, and it will be put to the test quickly and you will fail. And if you do, it doesn't look good for you, and then you lost the opportunity. So if you're out there, don't be a cup half full, be a cup half empty. Take more in. And that's how you do it. That's how you pick up. I remember back in the days when I was learning things, I still learn every day. This whole concept in the media, the last 3 years was literally an expedited master's degree in all of it. I've learned quite a bit about it in a short period of time. but it's a lot
Hmm.
of, everyday work. Look this, check this one, look the other one, tutor this, whatever. Ask questions and so on and so forth. Practice, fail, all these things to learn. And I'm still not even close. I now learn every day, and I will learn until I die. But
Well, we're always going to be learning every single day of our lives, and I do these free coaching classes, so people get a chance to. I call them master classes, so people get a chance to see what techniques can do in their life. And it's not the whole ball of wax, but it's just something so they can at least make a few little changes. And then usually they'll go to a paid class or they'll go to hire me for private coaching. And so I think a lot of people, they have a misunderstanding that they know all they need to and they don't need to learn anymore. And see, that's the problem with our society. They're not open to learning more. I tell people to come to the class, anyone's welcome. I just ask that you have an open mind and are willing to try the techniques. Because if you don't have an open mind, don't come.
that's big one, right? Open mind, not closed mind. I'm being funny about it. I understand the idea. Again, it's you cannot, if a book is already written, and you're at the last page, there's no more pages. You can add new pages, or you can just start a new book, right? Bottom line is, you need to be able to take, take, take. Never say enough. There's never enough. We learn enough on a day-to-day basis. You don't want to oversaturate yourself. That's great. You take a breather. The next day, you pick something else. It could be a minute thing. It could be a tiny thing. What it adds up. One thing adds up a little bit at a time. And that's all it is. Drops can fill out a whole, a lake, ocean, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
A river, sometimes floods areas, and you get this crazy overflow with few droplets. If they add up for a long time, if you have rains for like 30, 40 days, you will have floods. And I'm not talking about heavy rains here. So the concept is, you just have to take slowly but surely, and be open. That's the other thing. People have this arrogance or ego that they don't want to be told, and unfortunately, I see it more with the new generation than
Mm-hmm.
generations, because I think what's happening now is our kids are taught that they're always right. It's okay. You do next time better. And there's no push that, no, you need to do more. Yes, encouraging is one thing, but if you just give people the false expectation that everything is peachy, life is not peachy. Life is not going to give you peachy. And work jobs are not going to give you what your parents give you, right? So you need to be able to understand and set that expectation for yourself. And I think as parents, we should also know that, where are we sending our kids to the real world? I mean, the real world is the real jungle. I mean, it's tough. If you can't fight it, if you can't stand on your own, it's going to be difficult. So I know it's one thing, as parents, we all want to pamper our kids. We want them to have the best. It's okay. It's all cool, and we try to shelter them enough. But if you shelter too much, they're not gonna get a boo boo, and a boo boo is important in life. Boo boos are good because they teach you that you know what to expect, and not lessons exactly. So, and by the way, guys, don't take me the wrong way here. I'm not being funny about it. As parents, I'm just trying to give the concept that it is our fault sometimes when we don't do it. We try to be the best that we can be to our kids, but then we hold them too tight, and we're not releasing them to a degree and let them be themselves. I mean, listen, I'm talking, I have the same thing with my own kids. I am tough. I am also soft in a way, but I'm also protective. And, sometimes, in my daughter, for example, was like, Dad, I got this. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to do this with me. I got it. You got to let me do my thing. And sometimes, she is right. I over protect. I mean, I obviously have a bigger picture about things. For example, my daughter just got into driving, so I'm always concerned about the driving because you don't have the experience, and so there's a higher risk. I mean, the age group that has the most accidents and issues is from like 18 to 25. That's why you don't get a good rate until 25 and over. So it's a tough place to be. So I am being cautious about it, but at the same time, I am being aware that I am overdoing it to a degree, but it's that balance. It's just trying to find any, like a little bit here.
Yeah, it's a dichotomy. You have to kind of bounce back and forth. And I think a lot of these things in life, whether we're talking about uh, something like, letting go or allowing, whether it's your kids, whether it's family, friends, to what I call, and I had this whole thing last week. I don't know if I told you, but it was called agreeing to disagree. And when we agree to disagree, it's a polite way of saying, hey, I don't quite agree with you. I don't want to have a fight with you, but I don't agree with you. And that's something a lot of people can't do. They can't disagree in a polite way. They have to always be right. That's a problem, HH.
Well, it is. And by the way, no one is always right. We all are potentially making mistakes. We all have our own views of different things. Again, this is the same discussion about the 6 or the 9. It's where do you sit from it? You
Yep.
see it as a 6, I'm
Yep.
seeing it as a 9. It is the same number. It depends what angle you're in. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. It's not the same number. It's two different numbers. But the way it looks to you is your number. You're correct. I see it. It's correct. So that's the whole thing. And if we disagree, that's okay. Disagreement is sometimes welcome. We want a disagreement. It's healthy. Okay, we don't have to, maybe because we disagree, we're going to come up with the construct where we'll come together to common
Yep.
ground. And that's actually a medium ground that's going to be better. Now, depending on the circumstances, the topic, whatever we're doing, sometimes one is going to have to overcome the other and become the relevant, I guess, truth. But either way, if I don't like, what John is saying, I can actually talk to John without having to have a fit about it. I say, okay,
Right.
listen, John, that's what you think. I'm not going to change your mind. Cool. Let's move on. Next. That's it. It's not,
But the
it's not
thing is,
difficult.
when you do that, of doing it in a way that's agree to disagree, it's doing it with a little more kid gloves. I understand that you've had a lot of research, and I know that this might seem like the right thing. And I know that working with this company for many years, it will never fly. Therefore, I'm going to agree to disagree that this is the approach we should take.
Well, there is expression, right? This is not a democracy, right? When you have in a business world, it's not a democracy where you have to always have a vote. It is good to take a vote. It is good to have an opinion. It's good to put your idea on the table. Sometimes executive decisions are made because of different reasons. Sometimes you don't know. That's the other thing. Some people will argue with you and disagree with you for a long time, but they don't know the big picture. They know this, this. You have a 10-floor view or like a satellite view, and they have a ground floor view. Two different spectrums of what you're seeing, and therefore they have a partial truth, a partial reality. You have a
Hmm.
full. Your view has a different spin on it. Therefore, you can see more. If someone is looking at it, from here to like 10 feet, that's all they can see. You're looking at it for a mile away, you can see something else that they're not seeing. The problem is people are not open to that idea. Like, well, maybe, I mean, I give the reference of military, right?
Hmm.
Generals versus a new soldier. There's field generals, there's Pentagon generals, right? Now, you don't just get to sit on the Pentagon, general, if you haven't done your due diligence over the years, right? You to get those 4-star generals or whatever levels, all those nice medals on your, lapel and shoulder, whatever chest. It takes a lot of work. You have a different view, and also, more intelligence than the average person that is start out. That's why they give you orders, and you have to just follow them. But on the flip side, the guys that are in the front line, they're seeing what I might not be seeing in the back. Now, maybe not today with satellites, everything is real live, real time. But the idea is just a few years back, you didn't have that option, right? These guys, they relay the message via some wave, radio, and they tell you what's going on. But they're seeing the real thing. And so that's the dynamic. You have the real view, the real instant impact, you have the expertise, the experience, and the big picture. Maybe I do want to see this situation as is. It's a decoy. It's a strategy
Hmm.
they're using. It's not really now for that person that's out there. That's all they know. They don't know there's a different plan. that they're part of a bigger plan. And those are the things. These things happens in. I'm giving the military because great analogies in military when training, staffing and strategy, and it's great. But the idea is everybody's at a different level. Everybody's got a different spectrum of what's happening, a bigger picture or smaller picture, and we all have a part to do in this big plan. And so you and I may be part of a project, but you have more information than I have. Therefore, you probably can give more. And I'm probably going to disagree with you because I don't have the full information. Now, that's the thing. If I don't have the information, I can ask. Listen,
That's a great way too to get out of it. So if you've got yourself into a corner, I talked about this last week where I said, I think I'm probably getting out of my understanding of this, and I just want to move on. They tried to go somewhere, but then they got themselves lost, and now they're like, I just want to backpedal.
Okay.
And there's all different ways, but I find that when you say it's not democracy, I can understand that, but there's still a way to be polite. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. I'm not talking about
a way to be polite so that when you have the other person save face or whatever it is, you do it in a manner that doesn't upset them and one that makes them want to go forward and not quit. I think respect and trust are probably the biggest kingpins to having something like this work. Because if there isn't trust, if there isn't respect, then the person's going to be like, why am I doing this?
Well, John, so that's two key words, right? Disrespecting versus disagreeing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can disagree with you. I don't have to disrespect you. The problem is sometimes these two are almost synonymous, and people are basically using the disregard or the disagreement as a disrespect as well. I'm like, well, the hell with you. What do you know? I'm not caring. I don't do this. You don't know what you're doing. That's actually disrespectful, right? As opposed to like, listen, I get it. This is what you know. And I think I have a different perspective about it. And you know what? We're just not seeing eye to eye. Maybe it is not a good, opportunity for us to work together at this point. Unless you change your mind, maybe we can do this. There's many ways to your point to be nice and subtle and very mellow about it. I don't have to get all bent out of shape to actually get my point across. And we see that in the corporate world, for example. I've been in meetings.
Oh my gosh, so much.
Oh, dude, I've been in meetings where it's like, and what the worst part is that when you have someone, again, not knowing, understanding the full spectrum, and they just have an opinion. And that's the killer that I cannot get by. Opinions are a dime a dozen. Everybody has them, just like I would say assholes, right? Everybody, we have that expression, and unfortunately, everybody is entitled to their opinion. That's another thing that we are put to believe, that we are entitled to our opinions, freedom of speech, all the stuff, which is okay, But if you have an opinion, but you don't have the facts, your opinion is not going to matter. It's just an opinion. I don't have to take your opinion if it's not going to have the fact that's going to help us solve whatever situation we're in. So yes, you can give me an opinion. Great, thank you, welcome. Put it up there. I'll put it here, and I'll just dump it in a box. Just like sometimes you have in our business, we do flyers, brochures, and you dump them all over the place. You know how many times I found our brochures in a dumpster? Or like you see this in New York, right? You walk in, they give you a flyer in the corner. You walk about 10 feet, and you have like a whole bunch of them on the ground, or like in one of those recycle bins for those that recycle, right? Because people just take them and dump them. But that's it. If you have an opinion, if your opinion is not going to be constructive, it's not going to have facts behind why. I mean, yes, I have an opinion about it, but what is the backing? What is the story behind that opinion? Do I have the knowledge enough to actually give an opinion about? Listen, you're in technology. I have no idea about technology as much as you do. I know that. I know I have other expertise, but definitely not that. I'll give you a good example that I'm clear about. Martial arts. Everybody knows how to fight, or at least everybody thinks how they can fight. Everybody can fight, except that not everybody can fight well. Meaning that, so you can swing and get lucky and get a punch hit. You can throw a kick and maybe devastate someone.
Maybe.
don't. No, you can probably do it if you caught them off guard. Whatever, it can happen. But the percentage of that compared to someone who has mastered
The
art,
skill.
the skill, the speed, the technique, and so on and so forth, the odds are not going to be there. So that's exactly, someone who trains every day in a shooting range and someone who just grabbed the gun for the first time. Your hand will not even hold it properly, and you're probably going to get a nice kick and maybe do the wrong thing. I mean, give it different.
How about somebody that eats well every day, that literally understands their diet, understand? So, that kind of thing, when they go off once in a while, their body's not going to be so out of whack because they just had a bump in the week, not a whole downhill trend.
That's true. It's amazing, but these are, like, again, we're given a variety of options.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of concept, but it all boils to one thing. If you don't have enough knowledge about something, guess what? Be open to learn about it. That's all. If you have an opinion or an idea, a suggestion, that's great. Like again, I'll give you a good example. I this is something that is live right now. Someone could be watching our show right now. It's like, these two idiots, they don't even know what they're doing, right? I'm just saying, right? And you probably are right if you say it your way, because you're looking at it from your angle, and your expectation of a show is XYZ. Our expectation of this production is, I don't know, ABC. So we're literally in two different frequencies, and so we're never going to be in a coherent, platform here format, right? You're going to have one view, we have one view, but at the end of the day, it is our show, it is our style, it is our dynamics. Someone can say, well, you have a network, blah, 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 but your quality is not great. I'll be more than happy to actually hire you to come in. Well, not hire you. If you have, the expertise, come in and do it for free. Come on, join me, fix whatever I have. I'll take your help any given day, guys. And this is just an example, by the way. So the idea is, if you talk, well, do the walk, make the action, connect the action with the talk. And that's it. We'll welcome that anytime. The problem is people can talk, but hey, do it.
They can't do the walk. They can tell you, well, you should do. You know what? Somebody says to me in the meeting, like, well, you should do this. I say, you know what? Let me give you the gavel, and you can be president. Oh, no. I'm just saying. Okay, well, then put up or shut up.
Listen, good example, right? Everybody talks until you tell them, come on, let's talk about it in front of the crowd now. Let's, you have an opinion, share it with everybody. Oh, no.
Oh, no. That's okay. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Why not? Hello. You just said,
because I gotta go. I gotta get dinner ready. My wife's waiting. My brother. You hear all these excuses they make, or I gotta pick up my kid, or I gotta do something, and or I gotta go get something before they close, or some nonsense.
And that's really it, guys. I mean, folks, if you're watching or listening right now, and I know it's funny because we're talking about opinion. This is still an opinion about us. The difference is we're talking about stuff that we are actively working on, things that we are, actively doing. So pursuing, doing, practicing. I mean, it's like, another good analogy would be like, you never touch a scalpel, you've never been in surgery, and you just think that you can do surgery. I know you can do it. Everybody can do surgery. We know that we have to cut open and probably get some sort of sutures, whatever, and start doing whatever you have to do there. This is not freaking fabrics, right? If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to kill that person. A surgeon spends years and years and years in practice to be able to do that fine cut, the line, make sure that you don't cut an artery or something, leave something in there. Everything gets sutured back. That's the expertise. We all think that we can go to the space, a station up there. No, these guys that are actually going up there, they do a lot of practice. These guys are not only scientists.
Oh, they train for how many weeks? They train months. They train.
Exactly. They train in a lot of environment to be able, weightless environments.
And that's a very big stress on the body, that it's not really worth doing that because it really does hurt the body.
Exactly. Well, I mean, again, these are all examples, guys, right, that we're giving. But the idea is that these are the things that we have to be fundamentally clear about. We are not experts in everything. And we can never be experts in everything. We might have some knowledge about some things, and we have maybe extra knowledge in some others. And yes, we might be good at it. And that's the other thing. Even if we are good at what we do, I have been leading sales teams of many years, almost 26 years. And I can tell you, I still can learn from all the people around me. And I'm not the best, I know that I'm good at what I do. However, I'm taking news, I'm taking information, I'm taking new ideas every day. I don't have to do it all. And that's the other thing you have to learn, that it's not all about you. It's, as a team, we can do more. And, when you go in a meeting, we brainstorm. Yeah, let's put ideas on the wall. Some are good, some are medium, some going to be like, priority one, some going to be like priority 10. Not all, no idea is bad. Some ideas are just immediate, some ideas are future. Some ideas maybe we're not going to need. Bottom line, it's a discussion. So again, these are all different concepts. They're all merging within the same, topic that we're discussing here. We can learn. We need to be open. We need to be able to argue, respectfully, disagree respectfully,
Mm-hmm.
not having to be disgruntled with people and just like having a fit. If we don't have the right knowledge, guess what? Learn. You can learn every day. Matter of fact, today we had the limitation of learning back in the days. I mean, before the internet, you would have to literally buy books or go to the library, spend hours and scan through this. You didn't have Ask GPT, Chat GPT. You didn't have Siri and Alexa and all these things. You could not get a quick answer right away. You got to do the work. I mean, that's the thing. 50 years ago, calculators were like big and only few people had them, right? Now you have them in your phone, you have them on your watch, right? uh, we had to learn how to do math ourselves to figure out multiplication, division, all these complex stuff. You had to do it yourself in your mind, right, or on a paper. Our kids today may not be able to do that, unfortunately. Some might, the majority may not do because they're not as doing this, and that's okay. Technology is different. So the knowledge that we had back in the days was limited to whatever we can absorb in the time of reading a book. You could read a book. How fast can you possibly read a book? With 10 books a day, maybe 15. If you're like that extremely fast, how much can you retain from it? Now I don't know if I can ask a specific question and Google gives me the best potential answers. I can browse through them. I can go to YouTube right now and watch a video about anything I want. How do I set up a studio? Boom. I have like 10 videos of the best setup. What is the best microphone I can use? Believe me, I did this exercise myself, right? What is a good, mixer to use, that is not too expensive? What is, the type of computer I should use, or teleprompter, whatever, tools, device, service, stream platform. You learn and then you practice it, then you test it, you work with it, you do, and you're gonna learn, in time. It's not gonna be happening overnight. You get a new platform, you're probably gonna like, what the hell this does? What is this button? Where's the other one? But if you do take the time, you will do it. Now, our information age is faster than ever, and we can absorb things faster because we are shortcutting things. Meaning that we have things that are at a fingertip. You click and you get a quick response. That's faster. You have it on the palm of your hands. Everybody's got one of these, right? Phones, or maybe two of them. You have quite a few things that are available to you at any given day. We didn't have that before. So we can learn. But if we don't have the ability or the willingness to absorb and learn from others and always think that we know it all, no one is born with all the knowledge.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, so that's my 2 cents.
I think people, when I was doing something about leadership before, they think that leaders are born. And I hate to break this to you, ladies and gentlemen, they're not. They're made. Leaders are made because of the tribulations and the things that they go through in life. But if you were to hear from someone that, they're a leader, and they're like, oh, I just, it was in my genes. You could have genes that could help you become a good leader, but it's not going to make you be that leader. It just might give you some inclinations of how to start becoming a leader. But becoming a leader, just like becoming a carpenter, becoming an engineer, becoming a scientist, a doctor, what have you, all requires practice. But they call different things. Well, the doctor's field, what do they call? It's funny. When the doctor opens an office, they call it a practice. And that always got me, HA. So I'm like, they shouldn't call it a practice. Like, aren't they done practicing? Like, shouldn't it be like something more like the formal? Like I said, practice, like like the expertise centers, but not the practice. Like, I don't know, that just doesn't sound right.
It sounds like they're practicing on us, right? Well, that's where they practice their medicine. That's where they practice their work. But so you said something about leaders are not born, leaders are made. True,
That's correct.
but I do want to just preface one thing, and I think you did allude to it, is that there are inclinations by birth to some characters.
Absolutely, you're right. There are some, but that I don't want you to think that that's going to make you the top leader just by you having that gene.
Uh,
Like for example, some people. I was very gifted that my family was great with speaking. I naturally took over speaking, and I love it. But there were still other things I had to work on to become a good leader. Speaking was something I had, but that wasn't everything. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people, they get frustrated because like, oh, well, he just does that naturally. Yeah, he does that naturally, but maybe he's not good at doing plans, or there could be lots of things. And I think this is what causes a lot of people to get a little bit confused, if you will, because they don't necessarily know why. Because like, oh, well, he did this and she did this. Okay, well, fine. I'm glad they did that. But what is it that you need to do? Where can you go right now in your life? And if you understand where you can go, then there's a lot of potential. And I just want to end on this thought. So, when you're a leader, you need to have trust, you need to be humble, and you need to be authentic. If you're acting as a leader and you're doing it to impress other people or to become something, you're not a leader. You need to lead from where you are and have the people follow you.
and you know what? Thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful. One thing I want to add to that is that you become a leader when the people really make you the leader.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, you can have the perception of leading, but if people do not follow you, you're a leader of you. You're not leading people, and people only will follow a leader when they do feel the leadership, when they feel the actual respect of leadership. They feel the drive behind it. And all the stuff that comes with it. And you're right, it's not just having some traits, it's learning everything else about it. And that's the part that is the hard part. We can all lead our lives in a way or another. So that means technically we can blanket everybody as a leader. If you are managing your portfolio, your money, your bank, your day-to-day life, you're leading life. The question, are you able to lead over the crowd, over other people, and gain their respect and gain their following, get the ability that if you say something, they'll take it from you and not reject it. The problem is, not everybody's got egos. And so if you cannot get over that, and where they see that you don't have the ego and you're not doing it for that wrong reason, and you're doing it because you genuine, can get things done, and people are going to follow your leadership because they know you're going to take them to great places, and you're going to make them leaders themselves, and you're going to mold them and train them. That's the difference. And unfortunately, not everybody has that ability. And that's just where people are actually missing on it.
You're right. And that molding is really the key, because if you understand that and you allow yourself to be molded. Now, I'm not saying to do what other people just say. You want to lead from your heart, okay? And you want to lead because you have passion to do something, not because somebody said, "Oh, gee, we need a leader. John, could you step up?" Oh, yeah, sure. How do I lead? Oh, don't worry about it. You'll figure it out as you go along. That's not being a good leader.
Well. So there you have it, folks. We've covered a lot of grounds today. I have to say, we started with a recap. We went through like the events and what's going on in John's life. Then we went to internships and the believe and achieve and the ability to learn, and that took us to a whole thing, and we wound up in leadership. And that's actually what you get with this show, where not all over the map, but it somehow works out. I don't know how, but it does, at least in my book. We've delivered quite a few elements that, if taken apart, they can still be constructive to someone's life and give them a little bit of, I guess, tips that they can apply in real things. That's all we have, I guess, today, John, right? We come into the end of the show.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I would tell you guys to remember, if you're not a leader today, look into it. You know, you can take some leadership courses, and don't let leadership scare you because other people say you can't be a leader. Just because other people don't want to be a leader, don't miss that opportunity that you could have to become the leader and shine.
All right. Well, I guess this is it. We'll be seeing you guys next week.
Next Monday, we'll be seeing you guys.
John.
But like I said, if you guys would like to get a ticket, go to believemeachieve.com. Check out all my great stuff, including my latest review that just got posted the other day, 99-cent pizza in New Jersey.
Damn, I haven't heard that.
At Delicia's. 99 cents. It's not a half pizza. It's a full cheese slice. Look at my review at believemeachieve.com. Check out GFR, Genuine Food Reviews. And I got to tell you, it wasn't a bad pizza.
There's only one place I know that still does the 99 in New York, and this is the second one I heard about now. Hey, those were the good old days, man. You know, you get a nice slice and soda, and you're good. You know, but life is difficult these days, right? Anyways, John, tomorrow, just a reminder for people that want to join you on your morning show. Time.
Yeah, so my morning show is on tomorrow morning. It's like 10:05, 10 o'clock in the morning. You can go to WG, if you guys are listening. You can just go to WGHT.com if you're not in New Jersey or in New York, depending on, you can obviously tune in the radio station, but you can just go to WGHT, or you can go to WTBQ.com and you can click on the listen live button, as well as tuning right into your radio station, 80 of AM and FM. And like I said, we go out to about 25,000 people. And I don't share the topic of what's going to be on the show until the actual show. So you're going to have to tune in to find out what we have. But we do give away gift certificates to restaurants in the local area. So tune in. You might be lucky and be able to get yourself a nice $50 gift certificate.
All right, folks. This is it. I'm Hurricane H, and I'm with my cool and fun partner here, co-host John C. Morley.
Serial entrepreneur, and together we're making your life better, one day at a time.
There you go.
Good night, everyone.